Before you became a mummy, someone shoved a hook up your nose and pulled your brain out through it, piece by piece. That's not from a movie, that's real, and it's just the start. We were told mummy making was a slow, sacred, gentle process. Wrapping, prayers, golden masks. The truth is messier, stranger, and honestly a lot more disturbing. And if you're Egyptian and you die 3,000 years ago, this is what actually happens to your body. It starts within hours of death. Bodies decay fast in the desert heat, so embalmers move quickly. Your body gets carried to a place called the wabet, the purification tent, near the embalmer's workshop. First comes the brain. Egyptians didn't think it did much, so they didn't try to preserve it. An embalmer breaks through the thin bone at the top of your nose with a sharp tool. Then he pushes in a long metal hook and starts pulling the brain out, in pieces, through the nostril. Sometimes it doesn't come out easily, so he stirs. He whisks the hook around inside your skull until everything's loose enough to drain or scoop out. Whatever comes out gets thrown away. Your brain was not saved for the next life. It was garbage. Next comes the real surgery. An embalmer cuts a slit into the left side of your stomach, usually with a blade of sharpened stone, believed to hold ritual power. Through that cut, he reaches in and pulls out your organs one by one. Lungs, stomach, intestines, liver. Your heart, though, stays inside your body. Egyptians believed the heart held your memory, your judgment, your very self. In the afterlife, it would be weighed on a scale against a feather, so it stays put. The other organs get washed, dried, and packed into containers called canopic jars. 4 of them, each one protecting a different part of you, each one watched over by its own guardian spirit. Now your body is hollow, and here's where it gets worse. To dry it out completely, embalmers packed the body, inside and out, with a natural salt called natron. Not sprinkled, buried, piled on top and stuffed inside every cavity. You'd lie there, covered in salt, for 40 days straight. 40 days of your body slowly dehydrating, shrinking, turning leathery. By the end, you don't look like a person sleeping. You look shriveled and gray, more like old shoe leather than human skin. Once the natron did its job, embalmers rinsed the body off and got to work rebuilding it. Because after 40 days of drying out, a body doesn't just look thin, it looks collapsed. Sunken cheeks, hollow chest. So they stuffed you. Linen, sawdust, sometimes sand or dried leaves, all packed under the skin and into the empty torso to make the body look full again, almost lifelike. Some embalmers even pushed small stones or linen pads under the eyelids so the eyes wouldn't look sunken. Then came the part most people never picture. That cut in your side, the one used to remove your organs, it didn't get stitched closed with fine thread. Often it was simply covered. A metal or wax plate, sometimes shaped like an eye for protection, was placed over the wound and the skin folded back around it. For poorer burials, sometimes it wasn't even covered well at all. The opening stayed visible, a permanent reminder of what had been done to get you ready for eternity. Here's a detail that would shock most movie audiences. The embalmer who made that first cut into the abdomen was considered unclean. In some accounts, after making the incision, this man had to run. His colleagues would chase him, throwing stones and cursing him as if he'd committed a violation. Because in a way, he had. Cutting into a body was seen as an insult to the dead. Necessary, but disgraceful. So the one who did it took the blame, ritually, publicly, immediately. Some men who did this job for a living reportedly tried to avoid ever being seen doing it, or ran from the site the moment the cut was made. Once the body was dried, stuffed, and sealed, only then did the wrapping begin. And even that wasn't quick. Hundreds of yards of linen wound around fingers, arms, legs, individually at first, then the whole limb, then the whole body. Resin, a sticky tree sap, was brushed between layers to help everything harden and stick together. Amulets were tucked between the layers as the wrapping went on. Small charms meant to protect specific body parts in the next life. A scarab over the heart. Protective symbols near the throat. All hidden, layer after layer, sealed inside forever. The wrapping alone could take over 2 weeks. Combined with the 40 days of drying, the entire process from death to finished mummy could stretch past 2 months. And here's the part that really breaks the movie image. This wasn't one sacred uniform ritual performed with reverence for every single person. It was a service with a price list. Wealthy families could pay for the full treatment. Careful organ removal, expensive resins, imported oils, fine linen, amulets made of real gold. For them, a skilled embalmer treated the body almost like a work of art. But for ordinary people, there were cheaper packages. Sometimes organs weren't fully removed. Sometimes cheap oils were used instead of expensive resin, oils that could actually damage the body over time instead of preserving it. For the poorest families, the process could be shockingly rushed. Some bodies were simply soaked in natron and wrapped, with none of the careful stuffing or detailed wrapping the wealthy received. A few accounts describe remains from mass burial sites showing little to no real preservation effort at all, just linen thrown over a dried body. So the version of mummification most people picture, that calm, golden, reverent ritual, was really the luxury version. A privilege of wealth, not the guaranteed treatment for every soul in Egypt. And if your family couldn't pay, your afterlife might have been at risk. Egyptians believed your body had to survive, at least in some recognizable form, for your spirit to have a home to return to. A rushed job, a body that decayed anyway, meant your soul could get lost forever, with no place to land. So next time you see a smooth golden mummy case in a museum, remember what's underneath. A hollowed out body, a missing brain, a stomach packed with sawdust and linen, 40 days buried in salt, and maybe, just maybe, an embalmer who ran the moment he made that first cut. The sacred version of death in Egypt was also one of the strangest and most invasive processes in the ancient world. It just depended entirely on how much your family could pay. And speaking of things that weren't what we were told, Cleopatra's death wasn't what you were told either. Next time, we go through what actually happened in that final room, and why almost everything you learned in school about it is wrong.